Hello again, and welcome back to Crow TV. It's been quite a hiatus for this channel. If you've been watching, if not, I mean that doesn't matter. It's been a long time since I made a video. I think it's been July. I kind of got busy with life. I started a new job. I moved.
Important.
New things, new changes. Life stuff. But anyways, we're back with a great video here. Hopefully, it's a great video. This is actually another top 10 video. We did a Neil Young one. Me and Luke did one back in March or May. Yeah, probably the most successful video on this channel. A lot of people seem to like it, and we're back to do a Bob Dylan one. And this one was actually requested by someone in the comments, and we saw that and we're like, that'd be great because Luke here. Luke, once again, joining me from the Neil Young video.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, he's a massive Bob Dylan fan. Ever since I've met him, that was one artist he always talked to me about, and I didn't really get into him until a little while later. But yeah, he's one of the all-time greats. He has so many great albums, and we wanted to do a top 10 list.
Yep.
Just because these are fun lists to make.
Oh, it's just nerding out.
Yeah, I don't want to stand here and say that I'm a massive Dylan nerd. I can't really have a huge in-depth conversation about him. I know a lot about the guy. I know a lot about everything about his career, but there's still facets that I don't,
We're not claiming to be know-it-alls at all.
Yeah.
We're just, your average kind of run-of-the-mill fan. Just happen to be listening for a little bit longer. And the thing about Dylan, I find, is every single album ever he's put out, except maybe one, the holiday one, but there's at least one or two masterpieces of songs. So not many artists can say that. There's no complete stinker albums or anything.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
But there are some that are less desirable than others. We'll say.
And just looking at his discography, you're intimidated by the sheer volume of it.
And that's problematic in itself.
Yeah.
It'll always be around.
Yeah. So yeah, we narrowed it down to 10 albums. No live albums are on this, all studio albums. So before we get into the top 10, I just want to mention two really great live albums I love, and that Luke loves, that we both love. Hard Rain is an incredible album. This is actually the first one I ever heard from Bob Dylan. I got the CD of this at a gas station. That was my first job when I was 16.
Awesome.
And I was blown away by it. Has my favorite version of the song Idiot Wind. I think that the version of this on this record is amazing, as well as all the other great songs on this record. And awesome picture of him on the front. Great record. And also from last year, from 2019, the 1975 tour of the Rolling Thunder Review, the 3 or 4 box set.
Bootleg series.
It came out in different sections, like that wasn't released all at once. But that and the documentary that went along with it, just amazing stuff, amazing versions of the songs.
The Bootleg series has given us so much, and it's probably rivaling Neil Young's archives, one of the best things ever.
Yeah.
The 66 live tour is another bootleg one that would hold up against Hard Rain or any of these ones, but Hard Rain is an official live album.
Yeah.
And then there's Live at Budokan. That's a big one a lot of people like, but Hard Rain's the only one I really got into as well.
Yeah. So not on any of our lists, but it's, we just wanted to mention
it. Would have been up there very high on mine,
and
I'm sure Justin's as well.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to mention a few songs that aren't on any albums. They're just singles or one-offs. You Ain't Going Nowhere, which is off Greatest Hits 2. And that's a great version. There's a couple different versions, but this is the one that's the best, hands down. The only one I listen to.
It's an acoustic version on that one?
No, it's a strumming thing, and but it's really clean. There's the basement tapes is kind of a low fi. That's like the perfect version. I don't have the actual album, but there's an album called Shot of Love, which pound for pound is a really good album. 2 songs on there I really love, Property of Jesus and I'm an Atheist, but I still think that's one of his best songs. And Every Grain of Sand, which is another one of his greatest songs. And it's on his Christian 3-album trilogy there. It's underrated for sure, and I wish I owned a copy of it. Positively 4th Street is a classic song that isn't on any album.
Great song.
It is on this.
Yeah.
which is where I first heard it. And also just gonna give a shout out to some of my favorite songs that aren't on my list, but Song to Woody off the first Bob Dylan album, and Soon After Midnight off the last Bob Dylan album.
Like this recently released album?
No. The last one, it was original material, 2012, Tempest.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about this, yeah. Okay, so we're about to crack right into our top 10. We're going to go back and forth, 10, 10, 9, 9 kind of thing, kind of similar to our past video.
Hopefully our choices are different. That's the only thing that really make or breaks the video like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun when we land on the same one, but yeah, just for the momentum's sake and everything like that. So we have all the records out here in front of us, out of the view of the camera, just to keep it a surprise. Alright, so starting out number 10 for me, this is a very controversial placement for this record. Some Bob Dylan fans are probably already looking to put my head on a stick for this one, but this is number 10 for me, the freewheeling Bob Dylan. Yeah, I mean, what else can be said about this very, very classic record? I just am not as big of a fan of his acoustic kind of stuff. Just acoustic song here and there, but all acoustic, harmonica. I mean, you know, chew me out all you want over this, but it's not my favorite, but I just can't deny some beautiful songs on this record. And Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. I mean, it's one of the all-time classics of his. Girl from North Country, I really like that one. I like the version of this more than the version with Johnny Cash that he does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Well, you know.
No. Well, I think so. Yeah. I think other people may disagree with that, but I agree with you highly on that.
Yeah. That's my number 10. Very, very beautiful album cover. Nice picture. You know, you'll find this one in archives. You'll find this one probably shot into space for aliens to listen to. Yeah. You know,
it's traditional music at this point.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that's my number 10. This is probably some people's number 1s. You know. But anyways, that's number 10 for me. So that's Freewheelin' Bob Dylan.
That's what makes lists like this interesting, or else. So my number 10 is going to be Planet Waves, sneaking in at number 10. It's a great album, and all these in the top 10 obviously are pound for pound, song for song. That's what's considered here. The favorite thing about this album is the guitar on Going, Going, Gone. It's probably the best guitar sound and solo and everything I've ever heard in my life. So I give this the 10th spot in my selection, and really great opening 3 tracks, you know.
Awesome.
Number 10.
Great. So here we got number 9 for me, Planet Waves. Luke gave a great spiel, as he mentioned, the first 3 songs on this record, and I agree. Great three song opening to this record. Forever Young, the slow and the fast version, I really love those 2 songs as well. Yeah, Going, Going, Gone, what a powerful song, the lyrics.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, the band playing with them, you gotta love the band.
Oh, it's awesome.
Planet Waves.
Yeah, Planet Waves.
Me and this guy, you know, we like this
Great minds think alike.
Yeah. So that's number 9 for me.
So for number 9, I'm going to choose Desire. A lot of people feel very strongly about this one. I do as well, hence it being in my top 10. I just find the biggest thing with this album for me, I prefer all these songs live. ISIS Montreal 1975 is probably one of the best rockin' songs he ever did. One More Cup of Coffee, Romance, and Durango is great live. When they speed the tempo up a bit, I find the songs a bit too slow on this one, and I could never quite get into it. Mozambique, I love that song a lot, and I heard someone making fun of it recently, but I don't know, I always loved it, so.
Great song.
Number 9.
Okay, number 8 for me, we don't actually have it physically here, but the record for me, yeah, right here is New Morning. Kind of a transitional album for him, but great record. The Man in Me is one of my favorite songs by Bob Dylan. If Not For You, the version that made famous by George Harrison.
I agree with
love that song. Yeah, it's just kind of like an album you can kind of put on and just, it's kind of nice to have on in the background. It's not one you like purely focus on. That's kind of what I like about it. I've kind of put it on doing dishes, things like that. Yeah, that album kind of always stuck with me, and that was one of the first records when I really wanted to get into Dylan that I just really started listening to a lot. Yeah, so New Morning is my number 8 pick.
Interesting, yeah. There's a couple of masterpieces on it for sure. My number 8 is going to be a cassette, Oh Mercy. This was 1989, I believe. This is actually how I discovered Bob Dylan, oddly enough. The movie High Fidelity, you remember that one?
Of course.
Most of the time is one of his songs in there. It's at the end of the movie, I believe. It's one of his most beautiful tracks. I got this copy from a friend of mine that worked at a record store, and he let us go out back and take whatever we wanted, and there was a lot of cool stuff, but this is one of the only things I have from that, so.
Cool.
Yeah, Oh Mercy's good album.
The album cover here, I wonder if it's kind of the Melvins album, Houdini, is inspired by this album. It's kind of got the same thing, text with the colors on the top and the bottom, the black and white and black and red. I'll put a picture up here just for a sec to compare the two, but I think they must have got some inspiration from this. That's just me. It kind of looks like it, but
it's a great one, and Daniel Lanois produced it, and he did Time Out of Mind, another Bob Dylan album that's also great.
Cool. So that was your number 8?
Yes, number 8.
All right, on to number 7 here. For me, I'm going to go with Desire for my number 7. I agree with everything Luke said. The versions of this are a bit slower than the versions we like, the live ones.
The tempo, especially Isis. So it's
yeah, exactly, Isis. But the song "Oh Sister," I'm a big fan of the song on this album. That song just really emotionally speaks to me. Beautiful song. And I really enjoy this record. Isis, the song Isis is great. One More Cup of Coffee, Mozambique, as Luke mentioned, very, very nice song. So that's my number 7, Desire, and I really love this picture of him on the front.
He's awesome.
Awesome album cover.
Yeah.
And this little collage on the back. Yeah, just all around just a great looking record.
Nice package.
Yeah. Number 7.
My number 7 is going to be Nashville Skyline. One of the few albums by him that's pretty well perfect all the way through. Yeah, I like every single song on this album. I like. It's just not up in the top 5, or it's, it just isn't exactly my cup of tea. But every song is great. I love how he changed the voice and all that. I find that fascinating, and that he threw his career in a whole different direction potentially while he was most popular. Almost to seem to lose fans, and he didn't lose me, but also I'm looking back on this so many years later, so hindsight's 2020. Number 7, Nashville Skyline.
Sweet. Okay, on number 6 for me, I didn't know where to put this one. A lot of people, it's a Bob Dylan record, but there's some non-Bob Dylan songs on it, really, songs. Yeah. But anyways, that's the Basement Tapes. Controversial pick, perhaps, to be even on the list, but no. I mean, I wouldn't say so either. But
well,
there's some people that I think would think that. But anyways, yeah, geez, what a record this is. So many songs on it. You mentioned earlier.
You Ain't Going Nowhere.
You Ain't Going Nowhere. The version on this record, on this album, of that song is awesome. The songs that Bob Dylan plays on, but he doesn't necessarily sing, is great. Bessie Smith, one of my favorite songs on the record. I don't think he's even on that one, is he? Does he play guitar on it?
He might be on it.
Yeah.
Some degree.
I don't think it was even recorded around the same sessions as this, but it's still on the record.
Yeah, that came out way later.
Yeah. Anyways,
the bootleg series of Basement Tapes is worth checking out as well. It's all the goodies from that era.
Yeah, definitely. And there's some songs that the band went on to do on their own record, Tears of Rage and This Wheel's on Fire, and great versions on this one. Just an impeccable collection of songs by a great group of artists, and collaboration at its finest, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Quite the eclectic album cover, a lot going on. So if you're a fan of Bob Dylan and the band, I mean, you absolutely must have heard this already, and if not, I mean...
It was put out to kill the bootlegs of the Great White Wonder album. That was probably one of the first rock bootlegs ever. And that came out like 6 years after it was recorded. So.
Yeah, 76?
75, I think.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, that's my number 6, the Basement Tapes.
Very nice. So I guess this is probably controversial, but number 6 for me would be Highway 61. And look, you could ask me tomorrow what my top 10 Bob Dylan albums would be, and they could be completely different, but you know, when I'm looking for that vibe, I don't know if I'm going to go for the straight rock vibe every time, and this album is very rocking. Exceptions, of course, being Desolation Row, which is beautiful and I love it, but I love the varying aspects of his albums, and this one's just, you know, you got to be in the mood, and I usually am, but when I made this list I wasn't.
Cool, number 6. What do you think of the My Chemical Romance cover of Desolation Row?
I don't remember it.
Never heard it? It's fast, it's like a pop punk version of it kind of thing.
I think I've heard it, but no, I like his version a lot.
It was on the Watchmen soundtrack, the movie The Watchmen.
Yeah. I don't want to shit on any bands, but I had to hear it first.
Yeah, no, anyways, it's you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, cool. On to the top 5. We're breaching the hall of the Bob Dylan ship. Here we go. Number 5 for me has got to be Blood on the Tracks. Had to kind of figure out where I wanted to put this one. Yeah, there's some all-time hits on this one. Depending, I can listen to this one straight through and not even really find a bad song on it sometimes, depending. The first couple songs, Tangled Up in Blue, Idiot Wind is off this record. Not my favorite version, but I really, really love that song. If You See Her Say Hello, heartbreaking song. Simple Twist of Fate. Great record. Blood on the Tracks. It's up there.
It's got to be up there.
It's up there. It's got to be.
That's one thing everyone can say.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be pretty controversial if you didn't have it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's number 5 for me, and like I said, I was even trying to figure out lower, closer to 3, but I landed at 5. Blood on the Tracks.
Coming in at number 5 for myself would be Freewheelin'. I felt like these were treated as folk standards when I was in elementary, which is the 90s. I remember learning my music teacher teaching us Blowin' in the Wind, and times they are changing, not on this album of course, but you know, it's so classic. What can be said that hasn't been said already? So that's why it's going to be number 5 for me. And I love the acoustic sound. And he's super young, which is also really cool.
Yeah, almost unbelievably young on that album. It blows your mind.
So insightful.
On to number 4, another classic record, Bringing It All Back Home. Song after song on this one is great. This probably breaches my tolerance of Bob Dylan acoustic harmonica kind of long kind of ramble poet songs, you know. That's kind of why the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan for me was number 10, because I can only take so much of that one sound. I'm more of a guitar rock Bob Dylan kind of fan.
A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall? You're not so much into that?
Well, of course.
It's a certain vibe you're looking for.
Yeah. And I think this album just kind of mixes the sound of what I like from that acoustic era for me. You know, there's obviously some full band stuff on here, some very rockin' songs on this record, but, you know, Bob Dylan's 115th Dream, you know, good song, but you can only...
That's the thing with his albums. It's very rare to have every song.
Yeah.
Every single song. While that's a great, funny song,
yeah,
that album is near perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's All Over Now, Baby Blue is probably got to be in my top 3 of songs of Bob Dylan. So that one's on here. She Belongs to Me, great song. Bringing It All Back Home. I'm bringing it all back to number 4 for me.
Very cool. We're going back to the cassette tape for my number 4. Time Out of Mind, 1997. Daniel Lanois' second produced album for Bob.
No, I know nothing about that record.
Very close to every song being great. It's just an amazing story. You know, some of his 80s and 90s albums weren't the best. His morale was probably down. The public looked at him like a joke. SNL was making skits. And then he put this one out, and I think that showed a lot of people that he's not just a 60s superstar or whatnot. This has kept him going.
He's not just blowing in the wind anymore.
Exactly. And even today, I still believe that he is still a great performer. However, when I saw him live in 2006, it wasn't during a great era. Though I see videos of him now, and he's ripping it up. There's a song if you're on YouTube now, maybe check out I Can't Wait, and that's off this album. And the performance of him doing that in July 2019 is superb, really cool, and he's old.
Sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, number 4.
Number 4, cool.
Time Out of Mind, love it. Every song rules.
Cool. Yeah, I love that. I love having a 1997 Bob Dylan album as your number 4. I mean, that's
and people always
unique.
Always use the benchmarks like his best since Blood on the Tracks, or Blood on the Tracks was his best since Blonde on Blonde, or what have you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay, so bringing it in top 3 for me is a little known album called Blonde on Blonde. You got this, and then you got this, kind of it's a Bob Dylan pinup.
Yeah, it folds out. That one's in such rough. That's an original copy. It's deteriorated, but it sounds awesome.
Yeah. This was the first. So I mentioned Hard Rain earlier. The first Bob Dylan album I heard. This was the first studio album I heard. This is the first proper Bob Dylan album I heard. I got it on CD. It's funny you mentioned High Fidelity earlier.
Yeah.
There's a scene in that movie where Jack Black is making fun of this guy in the store for not having heard albums. He's kind of making fun of him for his music taste. And Bob Dylan Jack Black pulls out a bunch of records, and he pulls this one out. He says, "You go home and you listen to these." He specifically has this one. He says, "It'll change your life," or He says something like, "Oh, it's gonna affect your life." And I remember thinking, I saw that movie when I was 18 or 17, and I thought, I gotta check out one Bob Dylan album and really see what this guy's all about. It was this one. Can't go wrong with literally almost any of the songs on this record. Sooner or Later, One of Us Must Know. I can't even think of all the songs just because there's so many of them. I Want You. Yeah, we said at the same time. What a just a lovely song that is. What a killer album. I remember blasting this one back in the day when I was in high school, rocking out to it. Blonde on Blonde, a staple in rock history, that album.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So we're on number 3, are we? So it's always hard to pick, this is tough business, but cracking the top 3, bringing it all back home. For me, these are some of his best songs ever. The whole album is epic. The most epic songs you've ever heard. And then they might put a couple of joke songs on, which changes the feeling a bit, but we love this one. That's why it's in the top 3. I'll listen to this till the day I die. I'm glad I have it.
So number 2, Luke mentioned this one. It was up lower on his list, much higher on mine. This is number 2, Nashville Skyline. I love how short this record is.
Yes.
It's like a mini album, but song for song, the songs pack so much punch. I gotta say, one of the reasons I almost thought about putting this at number 1, but the first 2 songs on the record, "Girl from North Country" with Johnny Cash.
I should have mentioned that in my rap.
Yeah, I think I skipped that one every time I listened to it. I listened to it a handful of times, and I was like, you know what? the song, it's not doing it for me.
Yeah, we're doing a hot take here. I can't stand it.
Yeah, it sounds like they're just making it up on the spot or something. Like it's so. I mean, maybe that adds to the charm of it or something for some people. But Nashville Skyline Rag, I do really like that song. It's kind of a nice little.
I do too.
I almost consider that where the album starts.
Yes.
Starts with a little country ditty kind of song, you know.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, and then after that, every single song on this album just does it for me. I've listened to this one on repeat a couple times. This was the one that made me go, this guy's one of the all-time greats for me. And I know a lot of people wouldn't agree about me placing this album where I do.
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
And especially since the Bootleg series did the country years, it really shows this album is a lot more favorable now than maybe when it came out.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned like alienating fans and him changing his voice. Mm. For me, I welcome the change in his singing style. It's kind of less rambly and it's more harmonic, more soulful on this record. So, Nashville Skyline makes my number 2 spot.
Yeah, can't argue with that, honestly. Or I guess I can argue with it because that's why we're doing this video in the first place.
Yeah.
So, number 2 for me, not that controversial, not that surprising. Blood on the Tracks. I mean, honestly, this can go hand in hand with any of the top 5. I don't know why. As I was saying to Justin, it's hard to do. They rotate so much, but all right. Blood on the Tracks, 5. He did a great rap on it there. Every song's great. I really like the Miley Cyrus cover of "You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go." It's very good. Giving out.
Don't know that one.
Giving out YouTube links here today. But yeah,
link in the description.
Yeah. Classic. Listen to it anytime. The vibes are always right for this one. I know I've said that way too many times in this video. You just got to be in the mood to listen to stuff, and this is one of those ones. Anytime, any day.
Agreed with that for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, here we are at number 1. What a journey it's been. And I gotta go with Highway 61 Revisited as my top Bob Dylan album.
Totally fair.
Along with Nashville Skyline, this is the one that was like, it just clicked for me, you know? I heard this album and I heard what everyone else was hearing for years. Yeah, it's just, I heard this and then I heard Nashville Skyline, and it's like the two kind of don't mesh sound-wise, but it's just, it's solidified me as a Bob Dylan 100% fan. I don't think there's a bad song on here that I don't like. Like a Rolling Stone is probably one of the most popular and most known songs of all time. Like
that was definitely the first song I heard.
Totally, yeah. Just growing up in the 90s or 80s, that was on the radio nonstop. And I mean, great. I mean, amazing song. But you get really into once you start getting into the other tracks on this album, you can see why this man is a living legend.
It Takes a Lot to Laugh, It Takes a Train to Cry is one of the all-time songs ever.
I'm a massive fan of the song, and I think it may be one of my favorites on this album. Queen Jane, Approximately, is an incredible song. Desolation Row, I think, is probably one of my favorite acoustic songs by him. From a Buick 6 is a nice little rockin' song. Anyways, I could go on about this one, but Highway 61 Revisited was the one that made me, it just all clicked for me. It just...
Fair enough.
It just is like dropping the needle on the record in my head. It just was like,
It's such a great album to get into.
I don't know what that was supposed to mean, but that was my brain zoning into Bob Dylan and just honing into him. Yep. That's my number 1.
All right. That's a great number 1. And I think Justin's number 3 will be my number 1, nice. Blonde on Blonde. I knew we'd have similar probably records, but this one for me is very special and very nice, and I listen to it frequently. It's one of those ones, again, I personally skipped the first track, Rainy Day Wind.
Yeah, that's fair.
it's a great song, but it's cliche. It's a novelty.
It's a joke. It's a novelty joke song almost.
Yeah. And it's got a lot of hits. He was rapping off some of them there. Every song I enjoy, honestly, every single song. And
a lot of the songs on it too. So that just goes to show how good of an album it is. It has like 60
a bunch. There's a long
songs
song. The last song's really long.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite song of the album is probably my favorite song, anyways. Fourth Time Around. And I love the fact that it's a response. I subscribe to the theory that it's a response to the Beatles' Norwegian Wood. Because there's a couple of references in there that you can take them as responding to that song. And the riff's the same. Because apparently Dylan had shown them that he was working on it, and then they put it out on Rubber Soul. That may just be fanfare, folklore, but I tend to
conspiracy.
Yes, so that's my personal favorite song off that album. So yeah, once again, Blonde on Blonde, all-time classic. No one's really going to argue with me about that.
Round of applause! What a great set of lists.
Closing, I just like to say. There's a couple albums I don't get that some people... I actually thought you would have it in your top 10. One of them being John Wesley Harding. I never got into that one, but some people that are friends or what are on the internet, they say that's one of their favorites.
Yeah,
so,
our friend Adam, I know he loves that record.
Yes, exactly.
There's some songs on it I like, but it never...
Isn't it interesting how Dylan's third album, Times They Are Changing, isn't on this list?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it kind of funny? Another Side of Bob Dylan.
Another Side of the second.
Isn't on this list.
Yeah.
Fourth album.
Fourth. What's his second?
Freewheelin'.
What's his first?
Self-titled.
Bob. Okay.
It's got two originals.
Yeah.
Which, Song to Woody I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, everyone thinks of his first one as Freewheelin', but
the first four I kind of get mixed up.
Yeah,
in
the first one has two originals on it. The rest are covers.
Yeah.
John Wesley Harding. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if anybody wants to leave a message, maybe say why that album's special to them, or give us feedback in general.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and I don't blame you for enjoying that. We're not saying it's bad at all, because it's good, but
I'm missing something.
Not on my list. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I think that's about it for us. We're just checking our notes. We actually took some notes for this one. The Neil Young one, we kind of just scribbled down a list.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying we didn't spend much time. I really stressed over that one. But we actually took some kind of notes for this one because
we got a lot going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyways, that's the video. That's it. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video.
Thanks for having me.
Check out the Neil Young one if you haven't. I don't know if maybe you haven't watched that one yet, and if you're a Neil Young fan, you can watch us nerd out about another old guy who's a legend, kind of thing. But there's a reason these two guys are very, very beloved. Yeah. So that wraps it up. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, give a like if you liked it. Comment down below. Please comment. We love reading the comments. And thanks to Luke for joining me again.
Thanks for having me.
That's it. Have a great one.